episode 17 Facebook gang. Bro, it is episode 7. Today is April 26th. Shout out to the 26 gang. And time is 7:05. We're about to get this thing jumped off. Probably gonna run it for about 10 minutes. Pretty short topic for the day. Just part 2 of from last week, huh?
Yeah, just like part 2. Had a little talk about opening and closing a little bit more.
That'll work. So hey, just me and you, bro. So ain't nothing to slow down about. Let's just jump right into it. So this week for me, you know, did my normal stuff. Looking at a little TNA, haven't opened one yet. Did my normal lab, you know what I'm saying? Just got a little something.
When I ask you, have you thought about? I know I was talking about them CSs, some credit spreads. I haven't gotten into. Actually, you know what? I lied. I got into a 5K one today, but on a CMG.
See. I told you don't be posting. You don't be posting.
No, but it wasn't a 250. I forgot about it. I forgot to let you. I'm letting you know today though. But yeah. So you think you want to start rolling with on some of these credit spreads when we come up? Because I know after
the 5 is a $5 spread or $50?
Yeah, $50.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
No, you don't. Like I always say, you don't have to do it with me. You can go down to the $10, $25.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I like to take that. I like to take that exact one. So when you out, I'm out, and you know what I'm saying, everything works out like I'm expecting. But I'm still in the 25. I'm still in the Amazon.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually waiting for earnings seasons to kind of finish up, because once earnings season is done, then I'll be able to really kind of do a lot more spreads. Like, you know, I dislike earnings season, bro, because when it's earning, I have to slow down on my positions. I got to close early. You know, with the amount of volatility, you got your little one behind you. With the amount of volatility that's kind of happening, it just seems like you can't. It's hard to open credit spreads, especially when they start getting super wide. But we'll get into that. We'll get into credit spreads maybe next week.
When it comes to earnings, it just messes with positions, because things become kind of awkward.
Yeah.
So I know what you're referring to there. So yeah, that was me for this week, and then last week, you know, we already kind of talked about. I was just doing general stuff. Nothing's changed from right now. Just waiting, you know, for that LabVIEW bounce, if it's gonna come or not. Just, you know, waiting for that, and then adding them that small cash on my own. Still doing that. So that's where I'm at. How about your week and last week?
So, you know, last week, it's like I said, kind of going to last week to this week. Closed a couple positions last week, you know, because the Tesla earnings were coming. I had 2 positions in Tesla that I wanted to kind of exit out a little early. You know, I was, you know, I think I put it in the thread. I was penny smart, pound foolish. I had a position in Tesla that instead of just try to eke out an extra $50, I lost $100 on a position, and that took an extra 3 days to get that extra, you know, to lose $100 that I did.
You gotta clarify for me though. When you say you lost $100, do you actually mean you lost $100, or do you mean you just didn't make as much?
I didn't make the extra $100. Yes,
because you cats, bro, y'all be getting kind of funny with this word "lost" as of late. I see.
Listen, I lost that money, yo. If I didn't make it, I'm talking to get lost. I seen it and I lost it. You know what I'm saying?
If you're not in the red, because that's not a loss.
So I didn't make an extra $100. So I was like I was saying, man, I had a position in Tesla. Had a closing price of $750, just to kind of give the exact numbers. And I went into one of the days where I was like, you know what? Let me drop that strike down to $650, or my closing price at $650, just to make an extra $100. It got to $735, $725, and then the market turned around on me. And then the same day, it went from about $725 to about $1075 or $1035 or whatever, over $10. And I'm like, sheesh. So, and this was like 3 or 4 days. So at that point,
you just decided to close it, or how did you?
No, I waited still, because this was a couple days. This was still a couple days before the earnings, right before today, the earnings of Tesla. So I was like, cool. So I moved my strike up. Once I saw like kind of the market kind of shifting, I did the worst thing. I started chasing. You know, I started shifting my strike, and then I shifted it back at 750, which I just left it at. So after that point, you know, then maybe a couple of days later, the market was coming down again. I saw it at 850. I saw an opportunity to get out. And I was like, yo, let me just at least get out. Earnings is coming. It's like 2 or 3 days ago. Earnings is coming. I need to get out before the earnings plays happen, before the volatility really starts to spike and I can't get out, or I don't know what's going to happen during the earnings time. So, hey, I said, penny wise, pound foolish. Trying to get an extra penny, lost an extra 100. So,
gotcha.
But that was my big play for the week, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I think I already saw Ghost kind of. I don't know what happened with the earnings call, but it sounded like he already ready to go at you for.
Yeah, listen.
I'm assuming it must have been good results because
the thing was so actually it was actually kind of negative results, right? So this is just for what's happening today in the market. That Tesla just barely beat earnings today. So I actually think that tomorrow going into the market, it's going to probably be kind of rough for Tesla. In these days when you just barely eke out the projected earnings, then you're going to come to the market the next day and see it go red. I remember Roku smashed their earnings, and the next day they were down like 6%. And when that happens, I don't understand the market any further.
Well, but I don't get into earnings too much, but I think what happens is a lot of people look at did they beat or did they not, and when it comes to the up or down move, that's not what earnings is about. It's about everything else.
Yes.
Like I said, I don't get into earnings too much, so I don't know exactly, but to me, it seems like it's about things that aren't earnings. Because, I guess that part is already known or maybe priced in or whatever the case may be. When it comes to did they beat or did they not, that doesn't seem like the moving factor.
It's not. It's almost uncorrelated. Like I understand. Like it seems like it's almost uncorrelated between what's happening with earnings. Well, it's not. But from the moves that have happened, sometimes when you have earnings versus the market play, they almost are uncorrelated sometimes, and I just can't understand. Like I always go back to Roku. I just talked about. It was literally up. I forgot how many percentage points it beat its earnings, and it was down the next day, and it just blew my mind that you could be that you can blow earnings out of the water with that much positive news and still take an L the next day.
Yeah. It might have been a guidance thing. I don't know. I don't play Roku a lot, so I'm not even familiar with what you're talking about. But I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah,
but I guess jumping into Mike, if you want to try to maybe adjust your camera focus a little bit while I'm talking about my closing, maybe just a little. I can't see when you came in closer, it looked perfect, but when you're fading back, you look a little bit.
Let me go to autofocus.
But I'm gonna go ahead and jump into. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. No, looks perfect on my side.
Okay, well if you like that's cool then, cool.
But I guess we'll see what happens when the video's posted.
Yeah, it looked kind of weird to me, but if you say it looks good, it's cool to me. Okay.
So jumping into the closing, get a little bit more into the details. So I'm gonna just talk about the first thing I mentioned last week, which was the charting, the part I said I wouldn't get into. What I do with the chart, so for example, if I'm looking at a name and it's been sitting at $5, let's say $2. It's been sitting at $2 for about say 6 months or even 6 years, whatever the case been. It's been just sitting at $6 for the last, the past time when I look at the chart. And then now it's sitting at say around $40. Okay. What I'm gonna say is, do I want to sell the put on the option while it's sitting around 40 for the last month, when for the last 7, 8, 9 months it's been sitting at $2?
Okay.
Granted, you got to take into consideration what's the reason for the pop. Is it warranted? Stuff like that. But for me, I'm still gonna be scared because like your history shows that this is where you're at. You're over here at $2, and now I'm about to pay to hold you at 30 or 35.
The GameStop
That's
move.
a major thing for me. Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one because that's a major thing for me when I look at the chart. It's like, do I want to get stuck way up in here at the height of the chart, when really it's been shown on the chart that you sit low all the time? Now, if it's a warranted move and it maybe 6 months go by and now your new normal is sitting around that 30, 35 number, okay, I might give it some consideration. But just because everybody's talking about you or because you're the hype right now, that's gonna keep me out of the trade almost every time if that's the way the chart looks. And that's my very first thing I look at before I even get into it. So that's me getting into it. And you know, that's kind of what we was gonna get a little bit more into detail about, you know, kind of opening and closing the
Yeah.
position. So, and
I,
that's a major key for me.
you know, one thing I've been doing a lot, so as everybody, not everybody, but as a group kind of knows, I've been doing a lot more credit spreads. And one thing, I have a list of things that I like to look at. And I think I mentioned these last time, but one thing I really trying to get into is the width of the bid-ask spread. The amount of liquidity and the amount of volume that has to have tighter bid-ask spreads. You know, it seems to be, honestly, that's going to be the biggest determining factor of how much I'm making per trade. You know, you have commissions, and that might be 65 cents per contract, or 50 cents per contract, or zero if you're using Robinhood. But, you know, when that bid-ask spread starts getting super wide and you're choosing the middle point of the bid-ask spread, you're really starting to lose money, because even today, I opened a credit spread. The bid-ask spread, I think, was like $3 or $4 wide, which is terrible. And the midpoint, let's say the midpoint was $5. Well, I put an open price at around $6.50, and it filled immediately. So if I had chosen the middle point, I would have lost $150 without having to do anything to my position. Right. So one thing I'm really looking at is the liquidity of the position and the volume of sales in the position, and having the bid-ask spread tighter, because you're going to lose so much money by going on the midpoint of these positions that are too wide. If between the bid and ask, if they're too wide, you're going to be losing money, because you don't know what the market is really calling for. You don't know how people are really reacting in the market. And that's something I've really noticed over time, that you want as much volume in these options as possible. And I think that's one.
So you said that's a major key.
Major. Because there's so much money loss. Like, it's fundamentally, you're looting, like you said.
At that point, you're talking about losing money just on simply the feel. Just on the feel.
Yep. Yeah. Just on the difference, right? Just on the difference, right? You're not, well, let me say it this way. You're not maximizing profit. That's a better way to put it. You're not maximizing your profit. You're not necessarily losing money, but you're not maximizing profit. And in this game where you have so much volatility and you have so many changes into the market, if you're not maximizing volatility, you can just get left behind. So that's one thing that I'm really trying to be better at, is, you know, making sure that there's enough liquidity and there's enough volume in the underlyings and in the actual options themselves to then facilitate a trade to open that position. Then beyond that, like I said last week, the IV rank, because I want to make sure that the option price compared to itself is high, right? You know, Tesla, it might be at $700 or $730 today, but, you know, 2-3 months ago, it was around $730, $740, $750, whatever. But the options premium at the same price point was almost, you know, 1.5 times greater than it is now. So I always want to make sure that the options premium in comparison to itself is high. And that's why your IV rank. Go ahead.
And that's your main. I don't really have more details to go into with the closing. For me, it was more the opening part.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask. So that's your main thing to kind of guide your trades is what you're saying there. Not, you don't really mess with the charts too much, right, on your side?
Not too much. I mean, I have, like, just in my normal charts, I have like the RSI and the Bollinger Bands just to see what it's doing. Right, but I don't use that, and I look at those probably 30 to 40% of the time when I open a trade. Right, so it's something I look at every single time. But I do.
And see, the price history for me is like super major. I probably missed out on some good trades because of that. It's more of a fear thing. But that's you know, that's my go-to. You know, you got to show me that, you know, you're worth me giving you this much money. I'm not trading. You know what I'm saying? Chesapeake Bay was a perfect one. That always would spike. It would always spike, but when it was all said, when all the dust settled, it always came back below.
Right back to where it was.
I think they ended up going bankrupt, but that's a perfect example of Chesapeake Bay for anybody who's familiar with it.
And I think one thing that I'll say is when I'm opening, especially when I'm opening a new underlying, when it's a whole new stock that I've never been into, then I actually will look at the charts more often. Like, if it's something that I'm just kind of running over and over and over again, I have a fundamental understanding of the price, right? Like, I understand.
I was talking about brand new. That's what I'm referring to.
Yes. If it's brand new, I definitely look at least the price history. Like, I'll do a cursory glance, because if it's at its absolute top or absolute bottom, I'm going to probably stay away from that, because I don't know. Like, I want to see a general increase in the stock price, But like any GameStop spikes, 10-foot pole. I'm not getting into that, even if even if you paid me a lot more money. But
and
yeah,
that's what we doing here. They
yeah.
paying you. That's what they doing.
A
So
lot more money. I need a lot. Yeah,
They
you're
are
right.
paying.
And I need a lot more than they can pay for me to get into GameStop
I ain't
at
gonna
this height.
lie. I took a couple swings on GameStop, but it was kind of a in and out thing. It wasn't nothing I was gonna get shares on. If I would have ended up in the red on it, I would just take the loss. I wasn't gonna end up with shares. You know what I'm saying? We are past the 15-minute mark. I didn't get into as much detail as I really wanted to, but I guess we kind of rambled a little bit more than I thought we would. But
listen,
I'm already past the. We are past the 15-minute mark. I know you like to stay around that.
Yeah, I like to stay around it. Just for keeping these things short. If we need a part 3, man, we'll do a part 3, man. There's nothing that hurts us for having a third part to this one. But I guess, man, just to kind of wrap it up, man, anything that you want to say before we call this one a day?
Nah, man, you can do your spiel. For me, it's small gains gang, and I'm out.
That's what we say. So as we always say, man, start your journey today and take your future into your own hands. We are Maintain Your Gains. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube at Maintain Your Gains. Robinhood and Betterment referral links in the description below. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And as always, remember, life's good. Have a blessed day. Peace.